Hi, Janet. Hi, Linda. Hi, Bill. Hi, Ann. I know there's some more. They say there's 8 on, but they're not in the chat. So hope everybody's having a good day. Linda, thanks for the letter today. I did take my medicine. I did do my walks. And I laid down a lot today. My son come downstairs and said, "You're laying down again?" And I said, "Well, it's either that or sit in the living room watching TV or clean the house. And what good's it do to clean the house if the kids are just going to mess it up again?" Kind of a little jar to him about that. But since there's not a lot on, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say the pledge and do a little music, and we'll be back to get this show going. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again, just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no town I love as love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee.
I just stopped at Stacy's when I went over to Hershey.
From sea to shining sea. From Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, oh, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I'm ready to stand up next to you and defend her still
Because I know it'll be like
'cause there ain't no
3:13 or
town
3:17 tomorrow in Sedans.
God
So I
bless
just
the
need enough to get me over
USA.
that and over the tree. And instead I decided not to go down that way. It was my when I get back from the doctor, which part I'm not sure about that. So I'm out of here. But anyway, I left it home. Just let the whole house go.
Next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless you.
Hi, Susie Q. Hi, Papa G. Hi, Ian. And I think I said hi to you already. Janet, I know I've said hi to you. I'm glad everybody's on tonight, guys. I'm going to talk about the kids. But if you've ever heard the term, get ready for blast off, I think that's where we're at. It has been a very, very happy-go-lucky day for me today because, boy, I'm telling you, everybody from, Patriot Princes to all the people that we're getting information from. Linda has been sending stuff over, little Jimmy, all of you guys have been sending stuff over today. And it's like, what do I do to tonight's show? But it's all positive. And how many times have we been told the first arrest will shock you? Well, I'm going to read the first arrest in a little bit, who they think it will be. To me, it doesn't shock me. I really wanted it to be Obi. I want to see him hang by his kahunas. I do. I want to see his eyes pop out of his head. I have no love for that man at all. And for a man that was in charge, his predecessor, not the one right after him, who was the good guy, the hat, but the one in between the hat and the hat. This man plays dumb better than any person I ever seen. I mean, he plays really dumb. So, and then you find out that that particular family might be the biggest crime family in the history of the world. And when you find out that, I think it was HC, if I'm thinking of this right, and I may be wrong, guys, but if I'm remembering how I read it, was either her uncle or some relative of hers took over the boss when Capone got put in prison. And this lady wants to run the country of the United States of America? And people would actually vote for her? Thank goodness. I ain't kidding you. Thank goodness for the hat. Thank goodness for JFK. Thank goodness for people that had the stones to stand up so we can make this country the greatest in the world again. I seen the hat speak about he's about ready to talk to somebody. He has a plan in place, and it looks like they're going to end the war. I believe it was in Gaza. And there's so much in my head right now, I don't really remember everything. But it's as he said, that'll be number 8. But you know what? I want number 9. I want the one in the crane ended. And last night when I wrote Julia, I told her, the way things are shaping up, and I'm going to get into this in a little bit, but the way things are shaping up, I told her, we have to go to the big N and the big G by the 1st. We have to. But in order to do this, there can't be no more wars. Do you know what it meant to this girl? Do you know what it meant to this girl when I wrote her last night? Now, today is what, the 26th? Yes. Oh, happy birthday, Betty. When I said happy birthday, Betty is one of my first loves. I met her the year I graduated high school. I was the gate guard at the Sportsman's Club that I want to rebuild. The place has so many fond memories, but I met her. And it didn't take long for me to fall in love with her. But 50-some years later, neither one of us know why we broke up. But I do stay in touch with her, but today's her birthday. Also today is Cindy's birthday. I was going to wait to see if she came on, but she might be doing something, so she'll catch us on the rebound. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Cindy. Happy birthday to you. And guys, I don't know how many of you talk to Cindy when she's on, but there is not a more loving woman in this world than Cindy. She pours her heart out into everything. There she is, Cynthia Cole. Happy birthday. I hope you're having a great day, sweetie. So, let's go talk about the kids. And usually I start the kids off with Super Jimmy, but tonight I'm starting off with Small Hank. Small Hank had a little bit of a misfortune last week. Every Friday, he has 20 spelling words that he has to learn to spell. Well, the reason I passed English in high school was not because I knew how to dissect or dissect or whatever sect, sentences and all this and that in English, but I always made sure that my 10 words every week on Friday, I knew how to spell, and I always made sure I knew the definitions of the 10 words, and I got 2 100s on my count. So when she's figuring the grades up, because our teachers was nice, all grades meant the same. It was attested, meant the same as if it was, because she always considered the words and the definitions was a test. And I always made sure I got 100. And my son looked at me the other day and he says, we're having trouble with Jason. Now, Jason is his born name. I call him Small Hank because his middle name is Henry. My dad's name was Henry. And they always called him Hank. So he's Small Hank. I'm Grandpa Hank. So he comes home from last night. We're sitting there. He come home from school and I said, how was school today? And he says, okay. I said, you got any homework? Because I knew he had martial arts and I didn't want him getting in trouble playing with his toys and not doing his homework. And he says, yeah, I need to learn my spelling words. I said, get them. He hands me the sheet and I ask him all 20 and he misspelled one. But I noticed a pattern with the words. 95% of them had the letters O in it. And the one he missed is because he left out one of the O's. And I said, look, this word, this word, this word, and this word out of the 20 is the only ones that don't have the double O. So when you're spelling, you know that there's going to be a double O in these words. The other ones didn't even have O's in it. And he goes, wow, thanks. So he went through them and he got, I thought 19 out of 20, but he actually got 20 out of 21 because the 21st one was an extra word for extra credit. And he comes home today and I said, how did you do? And he said, Grandpa Hank, you made it fun last night. And I remembered what you told me and I got 105 today. I said, wait a minute, you can only get 100%. He said, no, there was 21 words and the last one was worth 5 points extra credit. So I got 105. So that means the grade I got last week and the grade I got now, I'm averaging a B. And he was so happy. He said, you think I should go tell my dad? I said, I think so. He ran from the living room through the dining room up the stairs. And he was so proud of what he did. And you know, that's what it's about, is making kids happy. Now, on another point, Patriots 7 last night, I'm sitting here about 8 o'clock. Me and Ron was waiting for Bruce and the small call to come on so I could get online with Mary Ann and go through some things. Hi, Mike Davis. Little Hank, that's right. Janice, good to see you. Cindy, good to see you. I got your number, Cindy. Anyway, that being said, my phone rings. I didn't even recognize the number. It looks at me and it says, it's not in your book, and it should be because it's my grandson calling on the house phone, which is a cell phone, but they got it so if the kids, if they have to run over across town or something and the kids go to a friend's house, they take it with them just to have it, you know, so if something happens. And he calls me and he says, Papa? And I said, yeah, what's up? He said, none, just out walking Shadow, the dog, with Mom. And I said, okay. I said, what's up? He says, well, you know, we lost last week. I said, yeah, I know. Can't win them all. Don't be worried about it. You'll do good. Thank you, Janet. I said, what's up? There's something in your voice. I can tell you're excited. He said, well, you know, Mom told you that our first string running back got hurt, right? And I said, yeah. He says, well, I was named the new first string running back. And I said, okay, that's good. And he says, that's it? I said, what do you mean that's it? He said, that's good. You're not excited? And I said, yes. Inside me, I'm excited for you because you've worked very, very hard to, instead of being a fullback and blocking all the time, now you're going to get a lot of carries. So I'm happy for you. But a 10-year-old boy broke his kneecap for you to get that position. He goes, wow, I really feel bad now. I said, there ain't no sense to feel bad. He said, no, I didn't even think of it. Hi, Dean. Hi, Larry. Larry says, penalties and fines have been paid. Bonds are liquid. Payments have been paid. Oil is flowing. Tier 1, T2 have been paid. And Monday 30th through the 10th of October, the 10 days of darkness, internet silence. Well, and that tells you, have the show tonight. Yeah, have this show tonight. Because I was just going to tell you the same thing when I got done with the kids. Well, I'm going to go get supper, guys. I'll see you. Thank you, Larry. That's what I love about this show. You guys are so helpful. You know, I mean, there's sometimes I really needed you. But anyway, what they did is they're making sure that this young boy comes to the game tomorrow. And even though he'll be on crutches, they want him on the sideline. And they're playing this game tomorrow and dedicating it to this young boy. Well, a couple other ones because there was 3 kids hurt the other day. I guess that team they played was pretty big. Not only was this kid that got hurt our best running back, and Patriots 7 will do a good job. I just hope and pray he don't get hurt. Not only was this kid our best running back, he was our best defensive player too. But sports, people get hurt in. You have to know that. I'm against Patriot 7 playing football because of his age and his, I think they're too young. I think 12, 13 maybe. I think 12, 13, but 9 and 10 I think is too young. And when 3 kids get hurt, one of them majorly, and we've had a lot of injuries this year. But you know, I'll tell you this. These kids get hurt and they lay there sucking it up. But when these kids were playing baseball, if they got called strike 3 on them, they would cry all the way. And I go, what are you guys doing? I mean, there's this one kid I get along real good with. You might think it's Patriot 7. You might think it's someone else. But he got called out on a terrible pitch. I mean, the pitch was so far outside, he couldn't have hit it with a 3-foot pole. And he gets called out. And he turns and he looks at the ump. And I'm getting ready to yell, and Amber says, shut up, Dad. Because she knew what was coming. Hi, Bill Woods. She knew what was coming. And I look and I see this kid walking back to the dugout. And I go, you're crying? There's no crying in baseball. You can't cry in baseball. And everybody thought that was a mean thing to say until they seen this kid turn around and look at me and start laughing and saying, that's exactly what we needed. I'm telling you, when I did that, these kids took off, and man, they played the game of their life, and they won by the 10-run rule. And at the time, they was losing by like 3. But every kid, he'd strike out. There is no crying in baseball. So anyway, Super Jimmy, you know, you keep posting, you keep doing things. I'd rather see you outside playing, but I give up. I quit. I surrender. I'm not going to say no more about you coming up, getting online at 4:30 in the morning and posting. I'm not going to say no more about you posting things that I don't even understand. I mean, this boy is posting things, guys, that I've asked Ronnie, well, what does this mean? Hi, Elaine. But, you know, just keep doing what you're doing if that's what makes you happy. Patriot 11. If Grandma's watching, she needs to send me a message. Let me know if you ever got to ride that new horse of hers. I believe you named that horse Moose, because Grandma said that was a big, big horse. And I hope everything is good. Patriot Princess, our queen, and Patriot Wyatt, I know I don't give you the recognition I should, but buddy, I still love you as much as any kid here. Patriot Princess, Grandma Jana put a picture and said, "My world" on Daughter Day. I'm telling you, that was one of the greatest pictures. And everybody knows me, knows how I feel about my grandkids. But that was one of the greatest, most beautiful pictures I've ever seen. And you know what? If Grandma wants to send me a 5x7 of that, I would gladly hang it on my wall. Because I feel like I'm kind of your grandpa anyway. And that's how I feel about all these kids. You know, Patriot Wyatt Earp and Patriot Karate Kid. Man, my mom hasn't been on to say much. I keep sending her these little jokes. I keep sending her information, but tell her it's not all about work. Take time to come talk to me. Anyone who's wondering, them two boys are the children of Michelle Gillespie. Oh, Patriot Boogs, Boogaloo, Boogaroo, and Boogie. The 4 Bs. Boy, just think, Boogs, Boogaloo, Boogaroo, and Boogie, then when I get our town rebuilt and our sportsman's club open, they can come over and swim it in Buckingham. And then we can make it the 5 Bs. Grandpa John is so proud of you kids. He puts pictures up all the time, everywhere. He's a proud, proud grandpa. And did I say hi to you yet? I think there was 2 Anns on here tonight, wasn't there? If not, I'm saying hi now. If I have, you're just one of the fortunate ones. What? I can't hear you.
There was 2 Cindy's.
Yeah, there's 2 Cindy's on tonight. I think the one just come on to get her birthday wish and she went off. Nah, I'm just teasing. Cindy's an amazing young woman. She's like me, she puts up with a lot of crap. Patriot Little Leona and Patriot Little Elan. I haven't got any pictures. I did. I got one, I think, the other day about Little Leona. Little Elan I won't be getting many more because Grandma, for some reason, has decided to pack up ship and move to Florida. I don't know if her daughters, the moms, her daughters are a set of twins and they're both married. Seems like the grandma, it seems like just yesterday, I was at the Moonlight skating rink and I found out that Peggy, the great grandma, was pregnant. And I'm thinking, I'm serious, guys. It seems like it just boomed like that. But it is what it is. Patriot Super Gymnast. My daughter sent me a picture today. And it had Patriot Super Gymnast and Patriot 7 in it. A little less than a year ago, or a little over a year ago, when they came up and seen me the final day that I was in the hospital in Riverside. And they was posed by me, and Patriot Super Gymnast had the biggest, beautiful smile on her face, and I'm smiling, and Patriot 7 standing there like this. So in the comment section, I said to my daughter, I said, Amber, you know why Liam is standing there like that? And she said, no, why? And I said, because he knew I was coming home, and when he wouldn't be able to go up and see me, because I'm telling you, every time him and Patriot Super Gymnast went up to see me, I'm telling you, them nurses up there went nuts, giving them ice cream and treats. I'm not kidding you. They could get 2 and 3 things of ice cream every time up there. They thought that was really great. Super Gymnast come up and see me the first time by herself. That was my wish, because I needed to talk to her because she was having trouble with her grandpa, her papa being in the hospital. So I had to get her up there. And hi, Stephanie. Good to see you. Hey, if some of you guys are getting messages from Patriot on TikTok, I've been following a bunch of you. Stephanie, I believe I followed you and a few other ones here. Follow me back. I lost my original account. I had over 2,000 followers, and I lost it because I have no idea. I couldn't do things on it. So I think that pretty much, no, Patriot little monkey. Oh, I told you the other day she got in trouble. And her mommy's her teacher. Patriot little Kira, she got up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I had to get her breakfast and sit with her. And I already talked about small Hank. I'm telling you, that little boy, I have not seen a little kid that happy. See, because Ron says, we've never seen 105 on a paper. Extra credit? Huh? But no. My son, Brandon, was always on the dean's list in school. And if he would have had any study habits at all, I can't imagine in school how smart he would have been. He missed out by stupidity of my ex-wife. And when people think I'm being mean, I tell her that all the time. He had valedictorian locked up. And his last semester, she convinced him to take a college course, of which he got a B plus. He missed an A by 1/2 of a point, and they wouldn't give it to him. They wouldn't give it to him because, see, if they would have, he'd have been valedictorian, and their glory, glory, glory boys at Herscher would not have been. And they just couldn't stand the thought of a Buckingham kid. But if she doesn't do that, the class that he would have took, he would have got a high A, and he would have run away. Or at the worst, they would have been co-valedictorians. Now they used to be valedictorian, salutatorian or something. Now it's just sometimes schools have 5 or 6 valedictorians. So, but my son, what point I'm trying to make is very, very smart. His mother, not so much, but she works for the school district. So she has a reputation to uphold. So when he kind of struggled, I didn't hear it, but what I'm getting from my grandson is they might have been a little bit boisterous to him. Hi, Mac. Might have just been a little boisterous. Hi, John. To him. But when Grandpa Hank worked with him last night, and we didn't just get him an A, we didn't just get him an A plus, we got him an A plus plus, and he said, I've never had an A plus plus. He was so excited. But that takes care of the kids, and kids, remember this show is not meant for you to watch, but you can watch it if it's okay with your parents, legal guardians, or your grandparents that gives you permission. Thank you, Mike. Also, the music we played tonight is for entertainment purposes only. We have no legal rights to it. We only use it because we love the song. It's true to what this group is about. We're true patriots, and we're just ready to rock and roll. Now, I say rock and roll because I don't care what anybody says. Rock and roll is here to stay. But anyway, last night, I got a message from Mary Ann, and it stated that she would be late for Bruce and the small call. And see, what I've told her, it doesn't really matter if you're late because Bruce does an hour and 40-minute call, And an hour and 30 of it is with Sue and Bob. But here's Carpathia. This is her recap of Bruce in a small call last night. Bruce, Redemption Centers and Treasury Contract says get ready for the notifications by the end of the week or over the weekend. Has heard we should get all we are looking for before the end of the month. The month end is Tuesday, 30th September. I was really glad he told me that because I wasn't sure. We are closing in on this. We're almost to the end. What else Bruce has heard? QFS accounts should have our DOGE payments, our R&R in there, and our tariff dividends in that account. They are calling ZIM holders sovereigns, know pretty much who ZIM holders are, and they have set aside enough money for the ZIM to be redeemed. That money is set aside, but is not in our QFS account yet because we must bring the ZIM to redeem it with the rest of our currencies. To get those accounts hydrated with money from DOGE, R&R, and also from tariff dividends is huge. President the Hat is referring to the account in Treasury of $150 trillion in tariff dividends. A source who works with the Treasury is saying that the Big N and Big G will begin implementation on October 1st. Bruce heard today that with the Big N and Big G that we would get it rolled out for the USA from October 1st through the end of the year, which is December 31st. 3 months, we should have everything either announced, rolled out to where we understand what it includes. Could we get notified over the weekend and start Monday or Tuesday, or is it possible to get notified around Monday or Tuesday and start exchanging on October 1st? In the new USN Restored Republic system, along with Big N, redemption centers are alive and well. Bruce knows over 7 different leaders of centers. Now, that being said, I thought Bruce's show last night was very good. It was very interesting. But when you come down to it, Papa G, when you come down to it, Cindy, when you come down to it, Gordon, good to see you here. Gary, Vicky, good to see you, Vicky. When it all comes down to, in a nutshell, Bruce's call last night was just a recap because the Hat has come out on several occasions and said the Big N and Big G will be announced started on October 1st. He has said it will be completed. Everything in the Big N and Big G will be completed on January 1, 2026. So all of the things that he's saying was great. And it's like I was talking today with Linda. And I said, Linda, here's the thing. Even though it was stuff that we knew, it's stuff that we need to keep hearing. It's just like me. I've had people, when I read about the special beds, everything that they do, and I've had people email me and say, Ralph, your show was good tonight, but you've read that about the special beds like 3 or 4 times already. I've read 2 or 3 times about what I expect and what you need to do when you go to the redemption centers. And I do this for a purpose because you got to keep it in your mind. For those of you that don't have stuff written down, if you have currency, I don't care if you got to take a pen and paper and go and write, I have this many of this. I have this many of this. Make 5 or 6 copies. Or do it on your computer and make it, send it in an attachment and take it into a place that runs them. You give them the attachment, they open the attachment up, and they'll run the copies for you. And then it looks a little more professional. Go out and get a folder to put it in. If you have Zim, go out and get what your projects are going to be. If you don't have projects, you can do two things. You can tell them at the Redemption Center and give my phone number so they can double check if they need to. But you can tell them you're going to be working projects with Patriot 5, Patriot 6, and family. Or you can just say, I want to donate this much and just choose a project. You don't have to do anything, but you're still going to do it. Now, here's one thing I really want to try to get a hold of across to people. People says, me, I'm 71 years old. I don't want to work a full-time job. What we're going to, guys, we're not going to be working full-time jobs. You know, if I talked to Mike Davis and I said, Mike, will you work with us? And he said, yeah. I said, okay, you're over there, I believe in Indiana. I need a leader over there that will take charge of this and oversee, hire people to do this and this and this. Can you do that? Yeah. I'm not asking him to give up 100 hours a week. I'm asking him to just hire some people and even hire a foreman to overlook that. So he overlooks just the foreman. We don't want people overworking. You know, when I say I'm going to rebuild Buckingham, one of the things that I want to do is in the summer. My orchard this year, oh my goodness. My peach trees, I had to get off of each tree 400 or 500 peaches. I mean, talk about being as loose as a goose. I have been all summer long. But, you know, there's people that would love to have maybe a little orchard. There's older people that might love to have a garden. You know, I go back to my younger days. We always had a huge garden. I mean, big. We planted everything. My mom canned. And you know, my son is really good at canning. He makes his own spaghetti sauce out of the tomatoes. He makes his own sweet pickles, dill pickles, 2 and 3 different flavors of them. I'm telling you, my son makes the pickles as well as any classic or anything that you buy in a store. What? As well as Aunt B, Ron says. But we always did this. We always picked berries. We always had a big strawberry patch. So one of the things I want to do is for the people who remember that, the people who would love to have fresh carrots and fresh peas and fresh green beans, some tomatoes, you know, cucumbers, squash, whatever. The people would like to add that. I want to hire people that will literally plant gardens and work them all summer long. Now, what is that going to be? You know, I might have to hire 50 people to take care of 150 houses in town. And we don't have 150 houses in this town right now, but we will. If the money comes, right? If I go out Ron's door and go down a half a block and walk across the street, there's 40 acres of land that I want that will allow us to go all the way out to the highway. And then right straight across, if I walk straight across the street and instead of going to the right and just go out, there's a field with about 25 acres. I want that, and that's where our main stuff is going to be built. But see, the thing is, when I rebuild a sportsman's club, it's not going to be, you know, the lifeguards are going to be there from 11 o'clock in the morning when we open until dark. Is they're going to be there for 4 hours? And then we're going to have more come in. We're not going to have 2 lifeguards. We're going to have 4. I'm going to have a kiddie pool where the little kids can go and play in the kiddie pool with the waterfalls coming down and they're having a blast. And mom and dad don't have to worry about it. So mom and dad on a hot day can go out and swim, drink their beer, and enjoy. We're going to have a place where people can go and barbecue. We're going to have a restaurant there. So, you know, a lot of people was coming 20, 30 miles away or more to go swimming on the weekends, to go fishing on the weekends. But then all of a sudden at 3:30, they got to jump in their car and drive 20 to 30 miles home so they can get supper on Sunday. Now we'll have a restaurant there so they can swim all day. We're going to have a camping area where they can bring their own campers in, use our electricity, and just camp. We're not going to charge them a fee. We'll take care of the electricity that they use. But we're also going to, what? Yeah, as Ron says, the electricity is going to be free eventually. But if I get this, I'm already talking to the owner. If I get this land behind it a little bit to go back, we can put even more area in there. And I want to put campers in there so people can camp if they don't have campers. And when I said this, one of the people I thought about was Myrna, because I know Myrna loves to camp. But Myrna is not going to drive from Iowa to spend a week in Illinois and pull her camper. But if she can come over and, hey, we'll put her up. Now you can go to the restaurant or under the pavilion. You're going to be able to use our charcoal, our grills, and you can cook out. And then I can see people, campers and swimmers and fishermen coming together and having big parties down there at all times. We want to put a stage down there where people, we can get people to come in and entertain. And I'm not talking small people, because I'm talking Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, Elvis Presley. I'm talking big time guys. Oh, that's right. They're dead, right? Well, think what you want. You know, I even sent Carrie Underwood an invitation that when we get this done, would she come and sing at one of our events? Now, I know it wasn't Carrie Underwood that answered, but she said yes. I was going to ask that Swift girl, but, you know, to be honest with you, it's not that I don't like her music, but how many times can a person break up with someone just so they can have a hit song? No, I really like her. I do. My granddaughter, this gymnast, and my niece think the world of her. See, I want to be role models for people. I want people to know that they're welcome. You know, long before I started writing letters to Julia, or she started writing to me, because I always tease her. The only reason we talk is because she wrote me. She was so desperate, she wrote me. I have no idea how she got my name, because I had never been on a Ukrainian date site before. I think somebody put me in one and put my information. All of a sudden, I got a letter. But anyway, long before that, after I left the factory, after I got divorced, I had to have a job. You know, I worked for many years, and when the factory closed down, I thought, I'm going to get to retire. I had just got my ex-wife a job making $100,000 a year. And I'm thinking, oh, that's more than I ever made. But all them degrees I paid for was finally going to pay off. Well, once she got that first check, she realized she didn't want to be with my ass no more. But anyway, so I had to get a job. So my first job that I ever had was a paper boy in Buckingham. So the last job I ever had was delivering papers. But man, I had a system and I made a lot of money. And I had it set up that I was starting to collect Social Security at 62. I was ready to rock and roll, make some money, pay Ron some money for riding with me and getting things ready. We would drive 120 miles a day. We, got to talk. He'd get papers ready. He'd hand them to me. Where other people running that same route, it was 120 miles for us. Other people doing it was 130, 140, 150. Because, see, when they went down on the right side, they either had to get out and go across and put the paper in the box if it was on that other side. Or they, see, with me, when having Ron, I'd pull up on his side, he'd put it in. I'd go to the next house on my side, and I'd put it in. And we zoomed. But anyway, lost that job because a guy hit me at 90 miles an hour. That was one of my 8 times that the doctor told me I should be dead, but I'm still here. So I just wanted to bring that stuff up about Bruce and other things. And I don't know if you've seen old Wolvie. Wolvie did a video. Wolvie's very upset, very sad. Moment of silence. That's enough. No, Wolvie's so sad because I guess there's some people picking on him. They're saying he's bad things. They're doing things. And I'm not going to say one way or another, but my opinion is anything that people say about him, he's brought it on himself, only because whenever you hear from Wolvie, I'm under an NDA. Now, here's Wolvie, who's only been doing this for 5 years. Okay? 5 years he's been doing it. Here's Mark Z. Here's Charlie Ward. Here's David Rodriguez, Juan O'Savan, Mike Penny until he unfortunately left us. There's so many people doing these Patriot Princes, so many that's doing this for many, many years. I know I've been following Bruce in a big call for over 15 years. However many years he's been on, me and Ron's been following him. Now, don't it seem funny that a guy who really all I know he has is a Telegram site. He doesn't do live shows like I do here. I mean, they don't never put me under an NDA because they probably say, hell, he never says nothing worth listening to. He just likes to laugh and keep people happy. You know, but all of these people that I've mentioned, they're not under NDAs, but Wolvie is. Oh, he was crying last night. I was laughing so hard watching him. I had tears running out my eyes. And I said, oh, I'm going to get too worked up. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning. I quit listening. So I said to Ron, you got to listen to that, Ron. You got to listen to it. And I'm sitting here watching TV. And then all of a sudden he started listening to it. I hear him over there laughing. And he's laughing. I said, what are you doing? I said, never mind. You're listening to him. And don't get me wrong. He seems like he could be a nice guy. You know, guys, I don't know what to say, guys, but guys, I really think he can be a nice guy, guys. But whenever he wants a break, he's been put under 3 NDAs now. And that's not how they work. You get put under one, you're put under one until this goes. And then we're going to be put under one. And I want to talk to you about NDAs tonight. Because in talking about the NDAs, we're in a situation where Cindy, Jeffrey, John, Janet, Don, hey, Don, Papa G. Now, if you guys have Zim bonds and you're going to get put under an NDA, don't take it lightly. I talked to you about Julia, and, you know, once I go, I know I'm going to be in a situation where I'm allowed to put so many people, and so are you, everybody, Jeffrey. Everybody's allowed to put so many people on. Don't put a lot. A lot of people don't need to know. The least people that know what you have. So you have to remember one thing. When we get our money, other people are going to get their quantum accounts. So they're going to have money. So they're not going to notice so much. And, you know, I have another brother, Russ. We just give him the nickname Patriot 4. We wanted to give him the nickname Patriot Brickstone because that's what he likes to go by. But he wanted Patriot 4, wanted to act like the brothers. And I say that in a non-racial way. But I'm not sure I'm putting him on there. I want to put my son and my daughter on there. But guys, I know I can trust my son. I know I can trust my daughter. I know I can trust my brother. But I'm not too sure about my daughter, my sister-in-law, my son-in-law, who I love, or my daughter-in-law. Because, see, if they talk to their loved ones and this gets out, we can lose everything. They are going to monitor us. We are going to be under Jeffrey and Janet, Pasquale, yeah. Yeah, but I can't say that. You guys, here's the thing. If you put someone on your list, like I'm going to put Ron on my list, but when I come home that day, if Ron wants to know what happened, if he wants to know the amount, if he wants to know anything, I will write him a letter on paper. There will be no TVs, no nothing. We and him in his house will not discuss anything. Now, if he wants to get up, walk down the ramp, walk out into the yard, we're not around no phones, no radios, no nothing, then I can talk to him. Even though he's on my list, they're still going to be listening. I don't know how, but I'm not taking any precautions, guys. This is something that's going to change our lives. Do you agree, Cindy? I know I'm probably going to be on Cindy's list because but see, there again, even if I, jokingly saying this, even if I was on her list, we couldn't talk about it unless I get in a plane and go to California or she gets in a plane to come to Illinois, because you don't want to have any operating phones, TVs, radios, anything around. If you haven't signed up to our site for Telegram, do so. I don't have it right with me right now, but I can make sure I can put it up Monday. Guys, or someone, John, can you get the link, the invite link? Can you go in and get the invite link for our Telegram site, John? Now, John's in charge of that site. But if you haven't signed up, do so, because we can communicate there in a 10 days of darkness. I'm not Telegram. Signal, John. Signal. I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself. It's getting late in the show, and I'm trying to get everything in. But this is things, guys, we need to know. Be extra, extra careful. Now, I got a message today. I got to go to Telegram real quick, see if I can find this. So I got a message today from one of our previous followers. She used to follow us all the time, and now not so much. I understand the reason, and I'm not going to go there, but dang, I can't find it. I can't find our site on here. Did it get taken down?
What?
No, I can't find. Oh, there it is. Okay. Here's something this was sent by Patriot Diane to me, and then other people posted it here. Linda posted it here. Linda Scullin. New Des Moines Public School District Superintendent Ian Andre Roberts was identified as an illegal alien arrested by ICE after a foot chase and weapons was found. He also had $3,000 in cash on him. How can you get that high up in a chain in a school system? Where'd he get his degree to have that job? And Diane I could tell she was very, very upset. Here's something. Good morning. And then the word is TIRONIANAE, Patriots. What a week. So much happening leading into Red October. As I mentioned yesterday, remember, Q told us first arrest would confirm our future directions. JAMESCOMEY will be that first arrest. And by now, you should all know what that means. It leads to everything all the way up to the treasonous chain. We've known all along this was the case. Stay tuned for more, and stay tuned for F in parentheses, ALSE, F in parentheses, FLIG, as they won't go quietly. There's a reason the White House is fenced in. There's a reason the National Mall was surrounded by concrete walls. There's a reason that 200 plus generals and admirals have been called to northern VA, likely Quantico, this week. There's a reason that NETANYAHU is meeting the hat. All of this is taking place in the 30th of September, the last day of the month, leading into Red October. Personally, I've always thought the first arrest would be NETANYAHU. That would also confirm future direction, considering he is MOSSAD. You have heard me discuss CIA/MOSSAID engagements in everything from the news to being back in support for the FBI and their clear, obvious treasonous against presidents and the American people. Going to be MOAR and BOOMS this week. And what did I tell you about October? Military month, cleanup operations, September D-class, October military operations, November freedom. Q post 144 states U.S. risk this week. What do you think that means? It is a rhetorical question. Have another meeting shortly. Talk later. The hat in sneakers. Now that's a first. Sneakers, Gematria 92, Treason 92. White sneakers, like Charlie Kirk wore. GM 157, big announcement. The stage is set. Silver bullet. Guys, I listened to a gentleman speak today. He's got a beard. I don't know his name. I listened to him speak, and he talked a lot about Charlie Kirk. And, it's just a sad situation that what has happened had to happen the way it has, because I miss listening to Charlie Kirk. I miss the stupid people getting up trying to put him down, and he just sits there. Just giving them the opportunity. One girl come on, I remember this one show. One girl come on and just literally ripped him. And she said, and your trouble is you're always interrupting. You're always, you never listen to anything anybody says. And she went on for 2 minutes, cutting this man down about how bad he is, about what he did, about what he let her have that mic for 5 minutes and never said a thing. And when she finished, she said, see what I mean? You never give the person an opportunity. And he looked and he said, you just talked for 5 minutes. I listened for 5 minutes. Everything that she said, all the cutting him down, everything she did, he said 3 words. And it ended everything she said. The crowd went nuts. When she tried to say something, the people were saying, take the mic from her. She doesn't deserve it. He always gives the people a chance. Where this man got his knowledge, I don't know. I really don't. I mean, he might be the smartest man I ever saw. You know my feelings about where he's at? I'm not sure. But, yeah, I am pretty sure. What link to get us all? Stephanie? You talk about the link to the Signal page? Yeah, that's what they're saying, Jeffrey. Jeffrey said he heard that CK's wife was in, I'm going to tell you, I don't know if it's true or if it's not true, whatever. But I've heard 3 or 4 really people that's in the know. And I'm not trying to sound like Bruce or that. I'm not trying to say they're my contacts or not. I just heard it. One of the people who told me that he had read it and heard it, because a guy spoke about it the other day, a guy that we treat very heavily about. They said, is CK gone? The answer was no. Is CK good? The answer was no, he's great. So do you really think if he is great, his wife would be that? I seen the rings. Guys, they can take any picture and they can do anything with. You know what I like? I like when I see on Facebook, I don't want to raise my kid to be Taylor Swift. I wanted to be raised to be CK's wife. Be like her. The truth is about to come out, guys. We are this close. And I'm sure that and I'm not trying to sound like Bruce, but I'm sure that if you go and look, you're going to see that I've said this probably the last 3 or 4 Fridays. But I'm going to 100% tell you right now. Linda can vouch for this. Marianne can vouch for this. Diane, if she was on with 2 N's, could vouch for this. Ron can. I have not felt this good about where we're at ever. Ever. I have not. And I just I'm almost speechless because, Cindy, we've been doing this a long time, right, kiddo? We've been doing this a long time. And we always wondered when the day was going to come. We've always wondered when the day was going to come. And now we are so close. I mean, nothing's going to stop us now. Don't stop believing. Keep your vibrations up. And I had more I wanted to talk about, guys, but I'm already at 1 hour and 2, and I'm hearing Ron's belly over there growl because he's so hungry. Or maybe that's mine. No, but I do want to go in and look at the Restored Republic today, because I listened to Restored Republic and it was pretty good. Big Daddy, right here. Anybody who has Messenger, if you want to listen to that, I'm telling you guys, it's worth the listen. If you have Messenger, you want to listen to it, send me a message and I'll send it over to you. This guy is good. And the thing I like about him, he looks like he's 20 years older than me, but actually I think I'm like 4 or 5 years older than him. I don't understand people when they get old. Why, you play Santa Claus your whole life with your kids. But I don't understand why when you get into your late 60s, 70s, you decide you want to grow a beard and a mustache. I mean, don't be lazy. It doesn't take that long to shave. But they look so much older. And Ron and me, we have a brother, Russ, and Russ decides to do that. And it's funny because if the 3 of us are around someplace together and someone don't really know our age, they guess Russ to be the oldest. He's a good guy, man. I mean, he's going to celebrate a week from tomorrow. He's celebrating his 50th wedding anniversary. But I won't go into that. I did want to read this, Imagine a new world that is awaiting us. Think World Fair is merging the past with future. Architecture that truly blows you away. Listen to this, underground train systems connecting the entire world at supersonic speeds. Education that inspires our children to achieve a major advancement in human capabilities. Food replicators so animals do not suffer anymore. Love will be the frequency allowing the animal kingdom to truly and unite with the human race. All things are possible. Trust in God and know that we are having the golden age ahead of us. Now, think of this. Underground trains that we can go from here to maybe Paris, France, and you can't even have time to take a nice nap, and you're there. You don't have to worry about there being a mishap and another train coming head on. You don't have to worry about a car thinking, oh, I can beat that train across that track, and he doesn't do it. Now there's a wreck. It's like you get in and you're there. Now that's from here to here. Can you imagine? I live in Illinois. I live 60 miles south of Chicago. And I could just imagine going into Kankakee, getting on one of those trains, and boop. 5 minutes later, I'm walking into, I still call it Comiskey Park. Just that. But the one thing, and it's not because we like to eat, but the one thing that me and Ron and Mary Ann love to talk about is the replicators. Now, a lot of people like to talk about the replicators because of what they can do for us, what they can provide us with the food. My daughter, when Grandma Bo's grandson, my son-in-law, is out of town working, she has to get up in the morning, get 3 kids up, get 2 dogs outside, and try to get in the car so she can get the oldest daughter, super gymnast, to school, so then she can go to school with the other 2 kids and be there by 7:35. Because she has to be there a little early, so the 2 kids just go to her room with her. Well, one of them's in her room. And she has to do all this, but getting them breakfast, the dogs and everything. But just imagine these kids going, telling the replicator what they want, and boom, they got their food. But what happens then? They eat their food, they get done there, everything's good. And they leave the mess on the table. What does that cause? It causes flies and bugs and stuff like that because the mess is on the table. But no, because when you're done, you just take everything, roll it up in your tablecloth that you get right from the replicator, and boom, you throw it in a container, and it makes it and starts. So you got more food coming. This is, we have talked about that. Mary Ann has the greatest emojis of anybody I know. And when she sends emojis, they're amazing. And the ones that she sends are, she has one with Rosie. Now for people, Papa G, you remember Rosie? She was the robot maid for the Jetsons. Janet, you remember her? If not, go here on this site and Google the Jetsons and watch an episode or 2. Flying cars, we're going to have that eventually, guys. We're going to a whole new world, a world of love, happiness, and just prosperity. The bad people are just about gone. But there was one thing about a non-bad person I had to mention. I read an article today that a lady was pregnant and she wanted to prove that the hat was wrong about Tylenol. So she just kept taking them and taking them and taking them. Now she's in a coma. They don't know if her or her child, unborn child, is going to make it. We all should pray that this lady makes it. We all should pray that this child makes it with no side effects. But even if this lady makes it, that child should be taken away from her when it's born, given to a family that will love that baby, whether boy or girl. That child should be taken away, and that mother should be thrown in prison for the next 25 years of her life for attempted murder. How stupid can any person be? But it's just part of their game. They think nothing can hurt them, and it can. It can. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous the way things are. They say she won't make it. See, that just, there's good stories out there, right? Thank you, Vicky. There's good stories out there, but that one there, it just literally made me sick. The hat in January 2026, the future begins, and the key is in your hand. A new chapter for America is unfolding, a nation built on strength, health, and resilience. For too long, life-changing healing technologies were kept from the people while millions stood endless lines for treatments that offered little hope. But now President the Hat declares the breakthrough, the special beds card. This isn't just a card. It is your key to freedom, vitality, and direct access to America's most advanced hospitals. Only those who hold the special card will walk into the future power of possibility. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, this is my opinion. It's true when 100% the special beds will be released, but they will be released before then. And this is people trying to make money selling cards. Everyone here, when you go to the redemption center or you go to the bank, you're going to, if you have Zim, you're going to be able to go. And I think everybody who goes in is going to be. They have to start getting people in that knows about it. So the people, can you imagine people who don't believe in this? I'm 71, Ron's 79. Can you imagine when we get on these beds? And I've always wanted to be 5'10". So I'm going to have them get me 5'10", about 165, maybe a little bit of muscle. Not a lot. I don't want to be no bulk. Bigger in some places, smaller in some places. But can you imagine when I walk up to family members and I don't have to wear glasses anymore? And the only reason I don't wear glasses on here is because I'm trying to read the screen and I cannot read close, even though I have bifocals. So that's why I don't wear my glasses on here. But I won't have to wear glasses no more. I'll have a head full of hair. My teeth will be good. I'll be strong and everything will be good. And that's where we're at. Guys, I'm going to say goodnight. It's an hour and 13 minutes. And I want to thank 91 of you for sticking around for the whole show. I want to thank you all. Yes, Big Daddy said today, JMF has just allowed Vietnam to go ahead in RV. I wanted to talk about that. Thank you, Papa G. I wanted to tell you guys, Vietnam has the approval that they don't have to wait. Now, he's talking about the guy, Big Daddy, the white-haired man that I just showed you. He was the one that announced that. He said this. So if you want to take your money, your currency to a bank. But he said the difference is you're not going to get as much at a bank. But he even made the statement, right, Papa G? Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but he made the statement. He don't think he will, but he might decide to take a couple of million of his dong to the bank. He might decide to take a couple million of his dong to the bank, even if he only gets $1 for $1 there. He's still going to have a couple $1 million until all of this folds out. I had actually thought, when I seen this, Papa G, I had actually thought about, I might go online tonight. I might pick up another 500,000 and then go to the bank this next week and take 500,000 with me. If I only get $1 for $1, that's still $500,000 for me and Ron that we can live on. So anybody, if you got a little money, it might be something to go to one of the sites where you can get currency. You know, it might be an idea to go there and look into buying some, even if it's only 100,000 at $1 to $1. Hey, and that's what the man said. And you might, like I said, that's a video you might want to watch to see exactly how he said it and worded it. But I want to thank Papa G for getting me that information. Good night, everyone. Have a great weekend, and maybe we'll get some good information. Also, remember when I just said that about if you got some extra money, you might want to go get some dong. You know, if you do, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you what I think could be a good idea. With that, good night. God bless. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday night, if not before.